So Jesus comes out of his desert retreat. He seems so self-assured, so confident in himself. He has discerned his future. He has declared it out loud and in public, in front of the world. He's excited to begin. He's on fire. And it's not long before everything goes south. Everything gets more difficult. They rise up against him. Maybe they wondered who this neighborhood nerd thinks he is. He's no better than the rest of us. He puts his pants on the same way we do. And if this guy is even alluding to the fact that he might be the long-awaited Messiah, he is delusional. So they run him out of town. The people who he grew up with were underwhelmed with him. They took him to the edge of a cliff to throw him off. Jeez. It's great, to be hot off the presses, totally enthusiastic, convinced this is what God wants you to do, and then you hit one obstacle after the next. Deflating, likely. Starting to doubt, reasonably. Less sure than when he started, absolutely. It happens to all of us sometimes, especially in our chosen paths in life. We discern our careers, our vocations, our service, and we end up facing obstacles we never anticipated we would, or at least we were underprepared for. I remember just after I was ordained, I was ready and raring to go. I was like a can of soda, that someone had just shaken up, and I was ready to be sprayed over all of St. Louis. The first thing that happens is I get a letter from the Archbishop saying that I was assigned to a cow town, literally, full of dairy farmers, about 50 minutes from St. Louis. So I get there, I muster the energy to go there, and I'm excited to preach the gospel there. And then right away I'm told by one of the parishioners, an older gentleman, one of the pillars, who said that my homilies were fluff and I needed to preach more about doctrine and the fear of hell. You just can't win. And then there's that recurring, Father, somebody has the keys to the gym, they're not where they were supposed to be, and we can't get in. It's just little things like that, isn't it, moms? And what I could not believe was that all of O'Fallon, Missouri was not converted to Jesus in 2 weeks. Same thing happens in marriage, doesn't it? The warm glow of love, you're excited to proclaim it out loud in public to all the world and get on with this amazing life together. And then there's that first disagreement/fight. How long do you think that takes from the vows here to the first fight? And I mean fight. The silent treatment that sometimes follows. The feeling like it's just icky, I know I failed somehow and I don't really know how. The annoying habits that didn't bother me, or at least I didn't notice them before. And now we're both tired and we're both working too hard and we're starting to snip at each other. Why does he resent me so? Why can't I do anything right here? The tender and intimate moments, those conjugal privileges I hear so much about. Become fewer and farther between. It's hard to be a good priest. And it's hard to be good married. And if you're married, I ain't telling you anything new. And if you're not, it's important that you know. How do we hang in there? How do we hang in there when the obstacles are so huge and right there in front of us? How do I remain enthusiastic about living my life in this vocation with so much opposition, so much division, and hurt? What keeps me going? What keeps us going when we begin to wonder if we made the right decision, if we made the best decision, if we picked the right person to do this with? I think in all honesty, we need to start by grieving. By grieving that it's not easier. By mourning what it isn't and may never be. Jeremiah and Jesus had to grieve the unexpected obstacles, disappointments that they faced immediately as their ministries began. We need to give ourselves permission to grieve, to maybe even have that good cry when it's our turn. And through this grieving, through this mourning, come to some accommodation. Come to some level of acceptance and get on with it. As hard as it gets, I can decide to trust what Jeremiah chose to trust in that first reading when all this was happening to him. You won't be crushed by this, Jeremiah. I will protect you. You won't be crushed by this. In every vocation and in our careers and as students, sometimes that's all we will have to keep us going is that promise. That promise, that assurance that this obstacle will not crush us. And that God will be with me in this to deliver me. I can choose it. Again and again I can choose it. No matter how crazy my spouse seems to be acting or my bishop, I can still be patient. I can still be kind. I can still be forgiving. I can choose to not brood over injuries. I cannot let myself be too ill-tempered. I can get on with it. No matter what's going on around me, no matter the obstacles in front of me, no matter the test I fail or not. I can choose it again and again. I can choose to trust that wherever I'm assigned, O'Fallon, Missouri, or the Catholic Student Center at Washington University, no matter how difficult right now, or that this marriage, however upset I am right now, is still good for me, is still growing me, and is still a good way for me to give my life away. The issues never go away entirely. There will always be obstacles, even within the majors you've chosen for you, that you were once so sure about. There will always still be this wrestling, you know. But we can get to a place where these are not the biggest things anymore. We can get to a place where these are not the biggest things anymore. It doesn't have to mean that I pick the wrong vocation, or the wrong person, or the wrong career or the wrong school. Because it will always get hard, sometimes. It's all part of living that extraordinary life.